Today's topic is why we fail at programs, and oftentimes we see women quit too soon when they start things. Now, I'm going to be speaking from the context of women who either buy a program, they buy something online, or they join a program, and we've seen this happen in our programs as well. So we're not excluded from that. I think for us, we really want to make sure that when people sign up, that they're in the right headspace, like they have the right understanding of what they are getting themselves into. They understand where they're at in their life, that this is, that this will fit with what they're doing, and it's not going to cause massive disrupt. Okay. So a few things that we see, my top 3 things that I see with women quitting programs after they start. Number 1 is that a lot of them do not set realistic goals. So we did a giant goal setting workshop at the beginning of the year for the launch of the Goddess Body Project. When we started then, got the buzz going. We had about 200 women enrolled in that workshop webinar. I went through an entire goal setting strategy, like how you should set your goals in general, but most specifically for your body goals. Okay. Now, a lot of times we don't really know, right? If you're not immersed in the health and fitness space, you might not know what's realistic and what's not realistic. So as a personal trainer, as a coach, as the sage that created the program, it's my duty to set realistic expectations for the clients that come in. So with this, whether you join us or not, I want you to think about where you're at and where you want to go. And when I say where you want to go, I mean, what is your overall goal? We're going to use fat loss or weight loss as an example because that's like 95% of what we encounter when people sign up for us. So what a lot of women think is they're going to start a 12-week program and they're going to lose 30, 40, 50 pounds. Absolutely unrealistic. The only time that is realistic is if we have somebody who is very clinically obese and they follow the program pretty strategically, to probably like 80%, and we see a rapid loss of weight in 3 months. But even then, it's generally not as grand as something like 30 pounds. 20 pounds is a great end result for somebody in a 12-week challenge. And it's very rare and it's not common. And that's because when you are implementing something, you have to be real with where you're at and what you're currently doing, your lifestyle, and everything that got you where you're at right now, right? Maybe it's lack of exercise. Maybe it is lack of sleep and making a lot of not so great food decisions, right? A lot of fast food. Maybe you eat a lot of processed food. We see this, right? We see women and they want to start something because they're unhappy with their bodies. They're frustrated with how they look and how they feel. And they just want an answer. And I want that for you. And I also want you to be incredibly realistic, right? Coming into a program and having over 20 pounds to lose and expecting to do that in 12 weeks is setting yourself up for a massive disappointment. So why I say that is because there's a lot of moving parts. You're going to be refining some things in your life. You're going to be adjusting to some new habits. You have to now insert where you're going to work out. What time are you going to work out? Who are you working out with? If you have children, how are you orchestrating that? If you have a partner, you got to communicate that. You got to now figure in your travel time to and from the gym and the time that you're at the gym. You got to meal prep. Like you got to start really taking control of your life. And if you are not used to doing that, it can feel like a lot. And we always want you to know that any improvements you make are getting you one step closer to that overall goal so you don't quit, right? Because it's so easy to just be like, that's just too much work. Okay, well, what's the alternative? What's the alternative? You are going to stay stuck and miserable and unhappy and then just go do keto every January 1st and lose 15 pounds to then quit after 2 months and then just be like back at square one. Because I see that like 100 times, I swear, a year, I feel like. So that is one thing. The top reason I see women give up too soon is because they have an unrealistic idea of how much weight they can lose in a program. So what is reasonable? A half a pound to a pound per week for sustainable fat loss. Okay. I'm going to repeat that again. A half a pound to a pound of scale weight lost per week for sustainable weight loss. If you want a quick fix, girlfriend, I can give you any meal plan that you want. I can have you lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks and you're going to be miserable. And when you go back to eating a remotely normal diet, you're going to gain most of that back, if not all of it, and then some. So our goal is that you're not doing this yo-yo dieting and on a plan, off a plan. It's you're creating new lifestyle habits. And that has a little bit of friction at first and it takes some time. But if you stick with it, and you stay in that spot that you hear a lot of people say, like, oh, losing weight is hard. That spot where it gets hard, you got to remind yourself, like, oh, it's hard right now. And that is what Boss Bitch was talking about. This is the spot where I'm going to want to quit, but I'm not. Because if I can get through today, just today, tomorrow's a new day, and I'm probably going to be in a better mood, but you can then work on something tomorrow, okay? Now, I have talked about this before. I think I talked about it on a recent podcast where I said, a half a pound to a pound per week is on track with sustainable weight loss. So what happens sometimes? Week 1, you lose 3 pounds, right? Because you cleaned up your diet, you start getting things on a roll, your body starts, dropping some water and things are moving and you're excited. And you all of a sudden think this should happen every week. That's not true. So week 2 comes, maybe you lose a half a pound. So now we're at 3.5 pounds. Week 3 comes, you lose 0 pounds. Week 4 comes, you lose half a pound. Well, guess what? You've now lost an average of about 1 pound per week. You just lost 3 of it in week 1. However, as the weeks trend, you're still on track. But what happens is by about week 3, your motivation wanes, you aren't as excited about the thing you signed up for, right? The honeymoon period of being excited about starting a program has worn off a little. And by week 3, you're like, damn, the scale moved great on week 1. On week 2, it moved a little bit. And this week it's shit. And then you get demotivated, you get upset, you email your coach if you're working with us on VIP, because I've seen this time and time again. It's not working. The scale's not moving, right? All these things. So just know, if after 4 weeks, you are on track with that average, you're doing the right thing. And if you're not, then that's another conversation for another rant in chat on Facebook Live. But that is the first one. The second one is that they don't give themselves enough time. So if you're like, I genuinely need to lose 25 pounds, like I'm really uncomfortable, maybe you have some health markers that are a little disrupted, or you have zero energy, you're just feeling like garbaggio, right? You got to give yourself enough time. So with knowing that about a half a pound to a pound is sustainable fat loss, weight loss, and is realistic, then you need to talk to yourself. You need to have a conversation with that voice in your brain that is going to tell you, well, no, but I'm the exception to the rule. I can do this in 12 weeks. No, bitch. You need to give yourself more time than you think, okay? Because I can tell you, not only for myself, anecdotally speaking, for dieting for the better part of 20 years for bodybuilding competitions, 15, and also coaching hundreds of women at this point, and most of them being competitors where we're doing some extreme diets and I'm having to like really push them into some super low levels of body fat. They will even tell you they wish they would give themselves more time. And I'm the type of coach that is, let's give you a longer runway to lose body fat so it stays off longer, and you just have to deploy patience. Not everybody's strongest suit. Trust me, I want things done yesterday, just like everybody else. But this is the one thing that, one of the things that you can't really force. And when you do, or you try to, it ends up backfiring in not a positive way. So our bodies, they move at the beat of their own drum. And as much as you're going to want things to move quick, you have to just realize that your body is going to move at the pace it needs to move. And your job is to just continue to check the boxes and be honest with yourself about your diet, your energy output, how much are you moving throughout the day? Also your exercise, okay, and your sleep. Like, we have some foundations that we want you to nail down to help you solidify things as a lifestyle. Okay. The second reason we see women fail at programs is because they hang out with the wrong people. And you might be LOLing at this, but for those of you that have children, and you have children that are over 13, I would say 12, maybe. I don't know. My kids are all grown now. My youngest is 18. So I'm like, and I homeschooled him for, 6th through 12th grade, basically. So I'm a little far removed from the social pressure of kids in school. However, I remember being in school. I remember my oldest two being in junior high and high school. And as a mom, you're always like, who are you hanging out with? Little Timmy over there, I saw him throwing rocks at cars. I don't want you hanging out with him. Okay? Because we pick up ideas from our social circles. And part of that also happens that happens as well as we're adults, right? That just transfers over to some degree, right? As we become adults and we mature and our brains, know better, we have the capabilities of being like, no, insert willpower, insert discipline. However, it is very challenging if your tribe, the people you hang out with the most, the 5 people you hang out with the most, if they are not also on board with some kind of remotely active or healthy lifestyle, it will make your journey that much more challenging. I guarantee it. Okay. I've seen it time and time again. I have seen women struggle. I have seen women succeed. And a lot of times it is due to their surroundings, right? Like who they're surrounded with, who are they hanging out with? So with that, ask yourself, is my partner, if you have a partner, is my partner on board? If they're not, are they at least supportive? Are they at least going to support your habit changes and maybe be open to possibly joining you for some of it, right? It's really hard when we come out the gate and we're like, I'm doing this thing and you're going to do it with me. Nobody likes to be forced to do anything really. And especially when it comes to their diet and their exercise. So tread lightly when you have conversations with your partner. However, I will say that I know most definitely from the clients that we have that are the most successful in our programs is that their partners support them. And the ones that have even better success is their partners are doing the lifestyle changes along with them, right? Erica Wyrick, she is a trainer on our team and she started with me essentially through the Goddess Body Project. She's competed. She's going to be 50 this year. If you're in the Glute Goddess Challenge, you probably saw the email with a video to my interview with her. But when she joined us, she started weight training. She was a marathon runner. Her husband, Eddie, lost weight along with her, right? A lot of our girls who've had massive transformations, their partners have also improved their lives and either lost weight or gained muscle or started feeling better about themselves as well. So it's a ripple effect, and it is definitely important that the person that you spend the most time with, if that is your partner, is definitely supportive and on board. All right, the third reason that I see women give up too soon is that they try to take away too many things at once and they try to add too many things at once. So what I mean by that is you start a new diet plan, you start a new program, and you're like, I'm going to take all this stuff out of my diet. I'm going to throw all this stuff away, cut this out. I'm going to stop doing this. I'm going to stop doing that. And now I'm going to do all these new things, right? I'm going to start working out 5 days a week. I'm going to start doing cardio. I'm going to start going to bed early. I'm going to start taking my supplements. And it is a lot. It is like drinking from a fire hose. You can't keep up, right? So my advice is that instead of trying to throw everything but the kitchen sink into your lifestyle change is that you look at the 2 or 3 biggest dial movers. Okay. What are the 2 or 3 things that are going to make the biggest difference in your success? Is that your diet? Is that your training? Is that your sleep? Right? What 2 or 3 things can you focus on? And if you want to get even more granular, because those can even feel like big pillars that need to be worked on, is let's say you're like, it's my diet is trash. Well, what are the main things in your diet that you are doing or you're not doing that are impacting your results? Is it that you drink a lot of your calories, right? Are you going through Starbucks every morning? Are you drinking sodas? Are you drinking orange juice? Are you drinking cranberry juice? Are you drinking a shit ton of liquid calories? Okay. That is the easiest one to lob off right the top, right? Good old fashioned H2O, seltzer waters, herbal teas. Follow my daughter for all of the Starbucks hacks for low calorie drinks because she was a barista there for years. Start to tackle that. Like, what can I do instead? If you hate water, then you got to find some other substitutes, iced tea, something like that can help you in that area. That's an easy way to just be like, okay, I can tackle this. I can take this step, right? Maybe the second thing with your diet is, I have a really bad habit of every morning driving through McDonald's and getting a sausage egg McMuffin biscuit and I don't know, whatever their blended coffee drink is. Okay. Maybe you don't cut that out. Maybe you just need to shift that order a little bit. Maybe when you go to McDonald's, instead of doing that, you get a side order of egg whites and a plain English muffin, throw a little jelly on it, and bada bing, bada boom, you have some protein and some carbs and probably a little bit of fat sprinkled in there, right? Super easy. And then maybe you get a low calorie coffee drink, right? We're just trying to switch out some things. So that way you're not like, oh my God, I'm dieting. And everywhere you go, I'm dieting. Don't eat that in front of me. I'm dieting. I hate that. I hate when people do that. That is my biggest pet peeve. That is when I hear people say that, I know that they're likely not going to last long. I'm just being real with you. If I'm with somebody and we're hanging out and they're like, oh my God, you eat cupcakes or you eat crumble cookies? I'm like, yeah. They're like, how do you do that? And I'm like, I just don't eat them every day. I mean, I have them once a week and then I just eat normal foods that grow out of the ground and they're single ingredient items for 90% of the rest of the day because, balance. So you have to know that if you are speaking into the universe negativity about the lifestyle changes that you're making, sweetie, it's not going to last long. So you have to own that confidently. And instead of saying, I can't have that, I'm dieting, it becomes, I'm not interested in eating that, or I'm going to have this instead, right? Or that bothers my stomach, or that doesn't make me feel good, right? So getting ahead of that by putting the right words into the universe about your lifestyle is huge.